Imports are high and so is the demand for dollars in Ghana, but that means the local currency, the Cedi, has been paying the price. In an effort to halt downward pressure on the Cedi, which depreciated by 20% last year, according to Thomson Reuters data, Ghana's central bank has tightened restrictions on foreign currency accounts. Cash withdrawals over the counter from these types of accounts will only be permitted for travel outside of Ghana and must not exceed $10,000 or its equivalent per person per trip. The new rules, announced on February 5, require foreign exchange purchases for the settlement of import bills to be lodged in a special margin account that has to be drawn within 30 days. Hamdiya Abdulrahman, an operator at a foreign money exchange bureau in Accra, said the move will affect her work, but it could be good for Ghana's economy as a whole.
If they can be able to stop buying the houses, renting the cars and those kind of things in dollars, then I think that will help. So that cedis can be flowing as the legal tendency, because using dollars is serious.
The central bank has also scrapped transfers between accounts dominated in a foreign currency. The Bank of Ghana also increased the policy rate by 200 basis points to 18% last week.
The uncertainties in the outlook and weakened domestic fundamentals underscore the need for continued tight fiscal and monetary policies and measures that would reduce the country's vulnerability to shocks, re-anchor inflation expectations, and sustain macroeconomic stability.
Concerns about funding twin deficits in excess of 10% of GDP have weighed on the currency, which fell 14.6% in 2013 and has dropped a further 7.8% so far this year, making it one of the hardest hit sub-Saharan African currencies since the U.S. Federal Reserve first discussed tapering in May last year. John Gatsey, a lecturer, economist and financial analyst who works at the University of Cape Coast School of Business, said a broader approach is the only way to help the city.
So if you focus on fighting dollarization only in the financial sector without extending it effectively to the entire economy, the effect will not be very good for the purpose of introducing that. So that is where a complementary effort was made by Ministry of Finance, directing all the institutions under it not to engage in dollarization. While it became absolutely necessary, then some documentation would have it done through the Bank of Ghana and the Ministry of Finance before that would take place. So now we are waiting for implementation for that to be rolled out. It is only then that the fight against dollarization will reduce the pressure on the currency. But in the immediate term, it sends a good signal, it sends a positive signal. But we are now waiting for implementation to be rolled out.
Al-Hassan Andani, a Stanbic Bank chief executive, said for the next 6 months to 1 year, he predicts Ghana will try to build credibility with its local currency as a safe haven for domestic entities to keep their assets, and so interest rates will remain high or at a reasonable level to give people a good return on their savings.
At the moment, we also, trying to grapple with the exchange regime and demand for dollars. In the long run, in the medium to long run, we just have, as a country, to look at the structure of the economy again. How much imports versus how much exports. What do we import, what do we export? How can we structurally change that? That, for me, is a hardcore issue that all of us, the country, the managers of the economy have to deal with.
Inflation has risen sharply, reaching 13.5% by December 2013. According to Fitch, the steps by the central bank are unlikely to ease pressure on the cedi in the absence of accelerated fiscal consolidation.